Good morning, St. Lucia. As always, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Coming to you live from the studios of the National Television Network, NTN GIS. I'm Lucia Homer. Well, Homer, I'm now adopting you as my surname, right? I should be saying, if it is that time of day, you know it is the morning update with Lucia and Homer. So Homer there. But that's okay. We are now become appendages.
I suspect you're spending too long. Too much time.
We're spending a whole lot of time together.
Good morning to you, Lisa, and of course, good morning to you, viewers. Always joining us for the morning update. Without you, it's not as much fun now, is it?
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. And Homer, today, December 10th,
yes.
Friday, it is Human Rights Day.
Ah, nice.
So we're hoping that you take some time off to reflect. These occasions always afford us that opportunity for us to, get a little bit more in sync, think about things, whether it be on a personal level, community level, and of course the societal level. So take a pause today and think about it. Think about all the advancements that we've made as a society in terms of being able to secure our various rights to education, rights to health, and all of those freedoms and liberties and so forth. Although for some people they believe that COVID-19 is trying to snatch that away from you. But no, COVID-19, yes, it has come upon us and it has brought some very, very dire challenges, but it's also forcing us to be able to see how well we can adapt. Out of COVID-19, we see new things that are emerging, new businesses, people are being able to rediscover skills within themselves, and so that they can perhaps better empower themselves financially. So it's okay, all of that in the midst as we observe Human Rights Day, Homer.
Very true, Lisa, and it's important to know what your rights are. I think on today, if you're not quite sure exactly when we speak about human rights what they are, it might be a good opportunity to educate yourself on that and understanding as a human being what your rights are. So indeed, it is an important commemoration, and we have to say happy Human Rights Day to all the entities working to ensure that we keep and appreciate those liberties as well. December 10th, it is the second day of the Honey Show, so we have to remind you of that. You can head down to Constitution Park and enjoy those festivities. You get to purchase honey as well.
Today's a purchasing day at the end of the competition, so that's a marvelous thing for those persons who came out there. Homer, we passed by yesterday and there was a lot of activity going on. Some of the booths were still setting up, but we know that it is in full swing today.
Indeed, and it's a great opportunity for us to kind of develop our honey industry in St. Lucia. So be sure to check it out. Again, happening at Constitution Park. December 10th, what else is there? We have to remind you that Monday is a holiday, and we're going to see the virtual Festival of Lights.
Yes.
Celebrations happening. So we'll tell you a little more.
Yes, my favorite part. Yes, National Day. National Day is coming up. But before all of that, you know that Homer, we had the annual St. Lucia Taiwan Trade Show, the partnership trade show. This morning we have with us a marketing specialist within the Ministry of Commerce, Manufacturing, Business Development, Cooperatives, and Consumer Affairs. She's Miss Cindy Eugene. Good morning to you, Cindy. It's always a pleasure being in your company. We don't do it often enough, but we're happy that you're finally on our couch.
Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Homer.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure. Good morning to the viewing audience. Indeed, it's a pleasure. This year, the trade show went virtual in its 14th year. And as you spoke on the impacts of COVID and what COVID caused to happen, definitely COVID forced us into having a virtual show. And we also had a physical presence on the 26th and 27th. Usually the trade show is just one weekend. But what COVID caused to happen was to have a virtual presence, which is still ongoing, and it ends on December 27th.
So that's a much longer span, Cindy. But you say that, and I'm thinking that this is not a bad thing at all, because, and I think the virtual space that we've gotten into, it really does open up the audience as well. So perhaps within the physical space you'd have had limited days, but now people can go on and continuously expose themselves to what is being available.
And persons all over the world. Before it would just be you would have to physically come into the space, but we have persons all over the world, persons within the diaspora. And I see sometimes you tell your people, even when you're at school, you try to tell your friends what St. Lucia looks like, what happens in St. Lucia, what's offered. You always have to try and sneak something in your luggage, but then you have an opportunity now to show them. If you visit the platform 14th annual.stluciataiwan.org, you go on very easy registration process, just your name, your email, and you're in. When you go back on, you don't have to put in anything than just your email address, and you get on. The platform is a wow. We try to replicate some landmarks in St. Lucia. So when you come onto the platform, you would see a presence, a building some futuristic building, what we would want this show to look like. And in doing that, we have the all-in monument. We have this monument to the front of the building. When you get into the hall, you can see the backdrop, you would see the Castries Harbor. So you going in there is to get an experience of what St. Lucia is like. So this trade show for this year, we also had a theme. We not had, but have a theme, propelling business development through technology. So this trade show, again, could not have been possible without the ICT Association. They came on board really strong, Jerry George. They worked with us to see this happen, and they were supposed to pitch. What we wanted to do was to show persons St. Lucia's technological advancements. Many years ago, when people think of buying things in St. Lucia, you only have to come up with cash. But when you look at Penny Pinch, you go into KFC and you can use Penny Pinch and make these purchases. So we want persons to know what exists. In addition to just technology on the forefront direct, we wanted to show how technology has advanced business processes. For the first time this year, we had a farmer taking part. We had an agricultural enterprise. So we had Cox Estate, Tropical Farm Supplies, where they were able to show how technology has advanced agriculture.
And that's fascinating, because we've often spoken about, we've had a few shows on discussing the smart agriculture.
Yes.
And we know, of course, that South Louis Community College is now offering this as a course. So I'm fascinated by that. If you can elaborate for us on how the farmers were able to participate and how they've integrated that technology.
Yeah, so like Mr. Cox, when people speak about agriculture, and for me who's trained in agriculture, it saddens me when people say that agriculture is being compromised because of the issues of soil. But for him, he does a lot of his technology's growth in pumice. So he does a soil-less agriculture. When you speak about the labor issues with agriculture, he does his fertilizing with using drone technology. And this is St. Lucia, right? I saw, when I visited his farm, I saw him harvesting sweet potatoes. What would take him a day and a half if he were to have workers harvesting, he had his equipment, he had a tractor that harvested these sweet potatoes within 15 minutes.
That's really
this is happening.
Yes,
here.
in St. Lucia, right at Vanna. Yes, and all his produce is available at Massy Mega, because there was a time I visited one of the supermarkets, and I heard somebody say, I'm wondering if these people are repackaging imported products, because I don't know of St. Lucia to have these type of products. And these products, all of what he has goes to Massy Mega. So when you go in there and you see local produce and Massy Mega, Dunstan de Mill, what they do for the local agriculture, it's unbelievable. So you build confidence in knowing that what we have, it's really St. Lucian, and just all about us promoting what is available in St. Lucia. We're not asking you to buy things from St. Lucia just because it's from St. Lucia.
But because we have placed ourselves in that realm of getting that quality,
yes,
the standard, meeting that international standard mark.
Even when we speak about furniture, and I tell persons, when you go into Furniture City, any furniture from Furniture City, you cannot get any jagged edges, because Furniture City, their cutting is digitalized. You come and you digitize. You put in the information and a machine cuts everything. So there's nothing about persons saying, oh, the quality that, you know, the finishing is poor. No, and Furniture City, they're very active on social media. You can get them on Facebook, and any piece of furniture you can get from St. Lucia.
They do have some beautiful pieces,
yeah,
I have to say.
really do.
They do have some beautiful pieces. And this is phenomenal, Cindy, and I think it speaks to, as well, the work that the ministry, along with some of the partner agencies,
yes.
Like Export St. Lucia, Seydu, and so forth,
yeah.
that you've been able to do. And I'm certain that the trade show throughout the years, that too has played a part in how we've been able to raise the bar
yes.
With our local manufacturers and producers.
Most certainly with Bureau of Standards, because they are there as the auditors to ensure that we uphold and maintain these standards. We have the Manufacturers Association, we have the different agencies, councils that make it happen, because we try to tell persons, even with the ICT Association, getting them on board, it was easy to work with them because they have a membership. But if we were to go out there and try and pull each person one at a time, so we try to tell persons it's easy to be part of a group. You know, it works easier, it's faster, because, you know, economies of scale. If you have to work together, it's much, much easier.
And it brings across a representation, and I think that's the important thing as well, because, as you say, as a group, you are collective.
Yeah.
All of your ideas there, you can pool all of those ideas and present as one.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes we lose sight of the importance of grouping ourselves.
Yeah, and this too would not have been possible without the Taiwanese. The Taiwanese, almost to me, we feel like we are siblings in this thing, like a big brother approach. This would not have been possible without them. And time again, I tell persons when they come and they say, oh, I really want to see products from Taiwan. So they come and see what's there. But intention, in a trade show, the intention is to show the market what is available. And the market needs to make this demand from the suppliers to ensure that it happens. So what the Taiwanese have been asking for the last 14 years is to see a partnership, to see a solution become an agent for the products. Right? So even say Winera, we know that Winera have been doing banana boxes, but truth be told, this has not been done the most efficient way. We had a packaging company taking part in the trade show this year. Is it the time that they come together, right, to cause this partnership to happen, so we can see a Taiwanese company merging with a St. Lucian company to advance? And to
do that same product, and as you say, more efficiently, and bring something new and fresh to the market.
Yeah, even what we saw today, this time around in the trade show, for the first time ever, we had an MOU signed among the Chamber of Commerce, the Manufacturers Association, and the Taiwan Council on Trade. This is private sector. What they've said over the years, the bureaucracies of the government, if they need to have a mission, they need to get the PS approval, it was just a bit of a burden. So now they have that MOU, they can do it on their own. They do not need the government to advance the cause. They do not need the government to source equipment, to go over to have exchanges. So we've caused that to happen. And most importantly, we have Ambassador Chen, and he's a mover. He just makes things happen. We have our minister. Even for the trade show, what happened with the virtual platform, we got addresses. So normally you go into the trade show and then you miss out. If you did not see what happened, then oh gosh, I missed out. But on this platform, you can see welcome messages from 5 of our dignitaries. You have our Prime Minister, Minister of Commerce. You have the U.S. Ambassador to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. We have the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who's really after the president in Taiwan. And then you have the Ambassador Chen, who is in St. Lucia. So you have these welcome messages, these notes of, commitment to the 14th annual St. Lucia Taiwan Partnership Trade Show, seeing that this works the way it should work to benefit the two countries.
Just listening to you speak about the trade show and all what's happening, Cindy, not only are you asking businesses to showcase the way that they've embraced technology for advancement, but you're incorporating it as well within the trade show, and that is awesome. In terms of the virtual platform, how can we see spectators or persons, logging into the website? To what extent can they communicate or interact rather with the businesses?
Yeah, very interactive platform, and I must say we use VFair VFairs, and VFairs worked with us when we thought it was impossible to make this happen. And you start discussing it for business, and you say, boy, I wish they could, persons who come into the physical space would feel like they're in the virtual. That can happen. And you say, I want persons that are on the virtual platform to be able to connect with persons who just log into their booth, and that can happen. And it was just like a dream come true with VFairs. So if there's anything like that, you want to have a show, a business showcase, VFairs is the platform to use. And I say that to show that what happens when you visit a booth, you can actually see a schedule when the persons can say my availability, and you just book a time with them. It can be a live chat, a live video chat, it can be a voice message, it can be text message. Very interactive platform.
That is really cool.
Yes, and what we did, we had games, so we still have games ongoing where you can win things like the Chromebook, you can win laptops, you can win tablets. We try and do things, we have health promotions as well in terms of the ergonomic mouse, we have the smartwatches. So we try to mix technology with a bit of health in the gifts, the prizes that are to be won. And everything you do, it adds up. So on the 27th, we don't even have to tally, because if you go on to leaderboard, you will see the scores right on the side. It will tell you where you're ranking. So if you go chat with a manufacturer, it gives you points. If you complete a survey, it gives you points. If you listen to the welcome messages, so we had to create these strategies to ensure that persons took part and did different creative things there.
That sounds great. And in terms of, it's going up until the 27th, and you've already told us some of the great exhibitors on the platform. Can you highlight for us from some of the other sectors, some of the exhibitors participating right now?
Yes, we have Dawn Books, we have writing, we have the literature, we have the clothing, fashion, we have persons with fashion. I mean, when you think of Rafferty, what Rafferty came out of, and you look and you see the swimwear, so we have Rafferty there. We have health nuts in terms of food. We have all different sectors covered. Island Tech in terms of your IT services, what you want out there, how do you get it. We have over 50 Senocean participants. We have 27 Taiwanese. Even for the Taiwanese too, we have, let's say, non-toxic nail polish. Yes, we have non-toxic nail polish. So they did some research, and they look at, in the Caribbean that people use these things. So even when you're ready to do business with the Taiwanese, the intention is that your thinking must be to see the OECS minimum as your market. This makes me feel like I don't need to walk around to go Christmas shopping this year. Mm-hmm. I can just log into the platform, see what the exhibitors have, and just set up my Christmas list. Yes. So even say for things like Miss Central's Creole Delights, a simple thing like jams and jellies. When we think of jams and jellies, we sometimes think, oh, I need to spread it on my sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But no, so many people do baking. Why not use this as your fill-in? You have your ice cream sundae, you put it on. So sometimes we have to tell people how to use some of these products to make it happen. And time again, I think the platform really creates that energy where we can have these long conversations. Maybe had it not been for them, maybe you would not have been here. But we are excited at what this virtual platform is causing to happen. Yeah, but persons and even we had a meeting with the participants just a few days ago, and some persons were saying that they got business. Though we did not have Kako Setlisi this year, but Kako Setlisi, I always mention her because she was born out of the trade show. Her first showing was at the trade show years ago.
And look how much it has grown by leaps and bounds to this beautiful place right now.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is just an amazing thing. But Cindy, doing the business aspect of it too, and you mentioned with the virtual platform you open up to the world, being able to purchase, and we know that perennial issue of being able to get things shipped.
Right.
And now with COVID, I know the complexities of shipping, that have been further compounded. So what are some of the conversations that are taking place regarding that, being able to get the goods out there.
Now, even with using the VFS platform, when they said persons can purchase using the platform, but what we felt, the reality that our manufacturers were not ready for that. So almost certain I can say we'll be using a platform like that come next year, but we have 1 year to get our people ready. The reality is getting our manufacturers on this platform, it was no easy task. Because some of us, to me, we use our phone and maybe just send a text. And if you hear that you must do anything different, it creates a challenge. But when there were some persons who said, when they heard the trade show was virtual, they said, I can't take part. I can't do this, I don't know how to use this. But the team we had was just phenomenal. Like 9, 10 in the night trying to work out with the manufacturers, physically showing them how to get it on. And then they realized with my phone, I can just upload and just take part in the show. It was very, very simple. The thought was great, but then the action was very simple. This trade show would not have been possible without the collaboration. We got this collaboration, again, I said, with the ICT, CDF, NCPC, the team at NTN, Dream, it just showed the strength, unity within the public service. You know, the Ministry of Agriculture, Creative Industries, all of these agencies made this happen. And we came together and we actually now have this network that we can really make things happen.
Yeah, we are indeed stronger
Yes.
together. Indeed. So you're saying that, and I'm thinking too that, and as we have National Day coming up, I don't think we give ourselves enough credit, you know, as St. Lucians, what our abilities are. And I think sometimes it has to take events like the trade show, or perhaps we are facing some national challenge, disaster, so forth, for us to really understand and sit back and say, oh wow, we did that. That's our strength. We really can. And we can match up to the world, because you were talking about some of the manufacturers who thought that, wait, I can't do it, I can't participate. But it is within all of us for us to be able to rise and meet those challenges.
Yeah, and when we speak about like agencies like Export St. Lucia, what they do is no easy task, because before the Ministry of Commerce on its own was responsible for all of this. So it was it came in right in place, steeper now, Export St. Lucia, ready and working with those that are export ready. But they don't just say, okay, we wait till you export ready to pick you up and pull through. Even throughout getting this trade show ready, they were well on board in terms of making it happen. Even being introduced to VFairs was done through OECS. So this partnership, this really pulled through. Export St. Lucia would even work with persons in getting them ready, you know, getting these markets going out. We saw recently they did a trip, you know, in terms of getting the markets and understanding what are the market requirements. Otherwise, people would have to do that on their own. So when we speak of collaborations, I mean, what comes to mind is the launch of OCOP, the One Community, One Product this year. And for the Ministry of Commerce, and might I say the government of St. Lucia, this project is a dream come true. What this project does, it's one that came out of Japan, and it's called One Village, One Product. And when I visited Japan years ago, I saw this and I saw the impact of community, the community empowerment. But they would use things like, say, the sulfur springs. They would use all sorts of things to build that community. But after COVID, when we started seeing the impact of COVID in terms of job losses, when we looked through documents and I saw, okay, poverty for St. Lucia, agricultural communities are the ones that we must address. So what we decided, we pulled through and we selected communities where we think that there is some strong agricultural connection. So what we have done now is presented, and even on the platform, when you log on to 14th annual.stluciataiwan.org, you can complete an OCOP survey. And the Japanese call it OVOP, One Village, One Product. But our assessment here, it's easier to say, if I say, Homo, what village are you from? You know that doesn't resonate with you. But if you say, what community are you from? You know, this is more.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, it resonates with me, but I understand why it would not resonate with somebody else.
Where are you from?
Canaries. From the
Canaries.
Yes.
Okay, so Canaries, so then the village, okay, works with you.
Yes, but
so
we
the
understand
average
that
person,
not
yes, so we
everybody.
say community. So for us, when we say one community, one product, and some persons will say, oh, but I think this should be for my community. So what OCOP does for what we're doing is gathering data. So we did some analysis, some historical research, and we said, okay, we've identified 22 communities, 22 products. And what we are saying that go online, indicate what community you're from, and so, okay, you said you're from Canaries. So for Canaries, we have fish. Do you identify with fish being for Canaries?
Yes.
So you say yes. If you said no, then you would indicate what product you would suggest. But this product, whatever product you select that is selected at the end of OCOP, at the end of this initial phase, what we want to see happen, and the Japanese are on board, the pilot is actually ending on the 14th. There's a fair taking place on Constitution Park on the 14th, next week, Tuesday. And this fair would show some of the potential OCOP products. Right, so they needed to have this pilot to see how this works before we roll it out full scale. But we've identified some communities. So for example, the pilot took in Poile for CMOS, Strozel for craft, clay and straw, and Soufre for cocoa. So each community should see an increase in agricultural production. Each community should see an increase in raw material production because there must be an emphasis, there must be a focus on value-added products. And if you have value-added products, then it will cut off the losses. Because if you were to just go for fresh produce, as an agriculturist, I know if I see food that is damaged and bitten, I would eat it faster than something that looks just fresh and brand new, because I would know that maybe some slug or caterpillar is on it, so I think it's healthy. That's how I see it as an agriculturist.
Oh, is that how we should see it as a consumer as well?
Yes, people looking brand new to agricultural products is not always the best thing. You know, this is a conversation we need to have on agriculture.
Yeah, in perspective.
Yes, invite me on
because
this.
you know, because as a consumer, your mind is this thing has better be spotless.
Yeah, we've been trained wrong, and for me, I mean,
it doesn't matter what has perhaps bitten.
The what is important.
Okay.
Yes, the what. I'm not saying go buy bitten fruits. No, but the intention is to preserve yourself from the losses, because when we sometimes think of our goal is to increase food production, but it may not be increased production. It may be improve your productivity levels. So if you look at the losses that you incur, if you fix these inefficiencies, then you may not need to increase your production.
So from what you're saying, the end goal is to improve the quality.
Good quality of that community, life in that community.
Okay.
Because with OCOP, when you'd have agricultural increase, production increase, you will have value-added products, you would have a village tourism component, and you should have some environmental impact in there.
Okay, so what are we doing with the output from the process? Export. Okay.
So for now, we have 7 of these products, I should say, are already earmarked with Export St. Lucia for export potential. Some of them are already happening in terms of the CMOS, in terms of the cocoa. We have soursop. I think even in the discussion, one that comes up and people will like, when I have babono herbs, and somebody said, babono, I see more vegetables. But then you look, which one you can have more throughput, more impact with. So can't you see the hills of babono? You have some tea shops, and people come in and drink teas, and you can see, because if you go on the shelves, the supermarket shelves, you see Rigodolls. Rigodolls has a turmeric and ginger. That's my favorite, the turmeric and ginger. Now these teas, the intention is to see that community can push teas. With herbs, you can push seasoning. I know there's Angel Delights, she has the packaged seasoning. But when we think of this dry seasoning, we go Mrs. Dash or one of these. But we want you to know that with St. Lucia, you can see these package seasoning, bottle seasoning, be it liquid, whatever it is. So if we target a community like Barbuda, based on what we see, that Barbuda has the potential to have herbs and this. And then you can go in there and sit and drink some tea and have this village tourism experience.
Yes, that village tourism experience. Because we all, when we talk about tourism, we always forget the domestic aspect to tourism. But that is so important. Now I know people want to export too. As long as you start getting into producing, everybody thinks about the export. But the local market is suffering. I mean, I've been waiting on cocoa sticks for the longest while. I want to have some, cocoa tea there for Christmas time.
And one of the
I can't find it in the supermarket. It's dwindling at the market itself.
There's somebody here that can give you a hookup, but I'll tell you about it.
You'll give me a hookup? Oh.
Somebody, I didn't say me. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Good quality, good quality. Yes. Because you see Cindy's here. Cindy's talk about quality.
Yes. But the good thing about it, almost any cocoa that comes from St. Lucia will be good quality because we have Trinitario variety. And the cocoa we have in St. Lucia is the cocoa you make fine flavored cocoa, not the bulk chocolate you see and the Hershey's and we don't have that.
Yeah, none of that refined stuff.
Yes, we have fine flavored cocoa that's a high end, so almost guaranteed that cocoa sticks you make will be good. But what comes out of this? Isn't it time we stop getting this cocoa stick and grating, and we need to move past that. We need to make life easier for people like maybe
and
somebody
the products versatile.
Right. So we have Jason, and he does the cocoa nibs where it's already portioned to size. And if you want 1 cup, if you want 2 cups, you drop it in your pot and you boil.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we have to meet, and I tell the manufacturers all the time, if you want to make what you want, you better open a charity and just roll your products on your own.
You have to meet the
market. You have to meet the market needs. We look at eggs. We've tied lab reef eggs. But time and time again, we've been self-sufficient in eggs as far as we can remember. You can't import eggs into St. Lucia.
Yeah.
Aren't you tired of cracking eggs? Can't you do some powdered eggs, liquid eggs, that you don't have to rush to use your eggs today, tomorrow?
Next thing it's spoiled.
No, we have Mr. Weeks. Mr. Weeks is our most senior manufacturer. He's 93 years old.
And he makes liquid eggs?
Not liquid eggs. He can, right? But what we want to do is to see the products out of, say, for example, library, like the liquid eggs. But Mr. Weeks, I can say, he is like a guru when it comes to agro-processing. He has a banana butter.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have banana for Miku.
But
so if we can
I don't see this banana butter anymore.
Right, so these are in the making.
Where are you hiding it?
No, these are in the making. So what we want to do, so we want to see these products rolled out in OCOP. So what we want persons to do, so let's say for Strozel, we have the clear and straw, which is the craft. But could you have done Strozel and not do sweet potato? No, you could not. So we have Saltibus doing sweet potato. But what we want to see OCOP do is to change your buying behavior. So when we have sweet potato chips from Strozel, and if we were to tie it with Massey, to say, because for different countries, we see you have OCOP shops. For St. Lucia, you won't forget Massey, because Massey, we have CJ's on Marianne Street, we have Glass, we have all these persons, dealies, all these small shops have been there helping these small manufacturers. When we get big, we can't forget them. So we want to see OCOP shelves in all these supermarkets. So when you are going and you home are going to make a decision, and we want to see records of sales every quarter. So if we publish these records that Soufre, $20, this, so you'll be like, oh my gosh, my community is not doing well. So you'd make a decision, do I buy these Lay's potato chips or do I buy my Soufre chips to make my community?
You can make a conscious decision. You don't have to search for it. So I can just go to the OCOP shelf and see.
Buy this, and then you see my community, and there must be community empowerment. This cannot happen with the ministry or the Ministry of Agriculture, Commerce. No. And OCOP is happening with the Ministry of Agriculture and Commerce and JICA. The Japanese are leading this with us there. We had a team on Tuesday. We had another team last week. For the last month, we've had 3 teams out of Japan. to fine-tune this OCOP project. So we are just working and ensuring that we get it right. We don't want persons to feel, insulted by what is presented. So we first make a presentation, and for the next few months, we'll be visiting the communities physically and virtually to make an assessment, if this is the best for your community. And you must have community leaders. We reached out to the Youth Council, right? We have the National Youth Council, so we have invited everybody on board to make sure that OCOP works for us all as much as possible.
And I love this idea so much, and because as you say, Cindy, it is going to give communities the opportunity to rebound, coming out of COVID. But it also does something too, and I think it really perhaps will give communities identities within the St. Lucian-ness.
Right.
That is going to be a spectacular thing as it begins to grow. It's going to mushroom into other facets as well. And then that ties us into the bigger picture of the Love St. Lucia campaign. And you were talking about, as the consumer now, for you to start thinking differently. And I have, the Lay's potato chips. I was never a fan, but never a fan of that. But I am now finding myself buying more of the locally produced chips. So I'm doing the plantain chips.
From Abby's?
Yes, you have the breadfruit chips. I don't get them very often, but when they come on board, grab a 2 or 3. And it is so much better than having to, go and take those things out of a can.
Yeah, but you see, even Abby,
I love the local candy sticks as well.
Yeah, Abby has been on board with the chips, and Abby has grown Abby's exotic blends.
Yes.
And with her chips, I mean, M&C, Massey, you see them up around, and even Excellent stores. But what I am, as a consumer and as a professional, what we need to change is this clear bag. This clear bag just cannot work anymore. You want, and it just not that it just can't work, but it would be to the manufacturer's benefit, because the less light coming into the products, it would increase the shelf life of the products. But I recently saw a joke. Somebody said that they bought a bag of air and they got a few pieces of chips in there.
And that's one of the things when you said the clear bags had to go. I was thinking, but I like to see the chips. Like that's what gets me. But understanding with the light and
so the light really affects that, and then it would also make it easier for persons to purchase, because nobody, when you go buy these other foreign products, you don't look and twist the bag all around. You don't even look for the expiry date. You just grab and go. But when you get the ones from St. Lucia in these clear bags, you twist and you may break 10 chips before you even make a decision, trying to see if, I'm looking for the brown ones, I'm looking for, So even one of the the companies out of Taiwan, they have packaging. So again, we want to see this marriage that our processors can package their goods better. But it would be better if we see this company established within St. Lucia. It would be cheaper for us rather than they ship out of Taiwan. So we want to see them come in and maybe St. Lucia be a hub. It would be cheaper if it is manufactured in St. Lucia in terms of the price of the packaging. It would be within that trading block that we import it out of Asia. So these are the type of advancements we want to see with manufacturing in St. Lucia, making a decision to buy St. Lucia, to love St. Lucia through this campaign. And I tell people off and on that Love St. Lucia, though it speaks to buying local, we can't forget our importers, because we must strike a balance. We can't make everything. So we're not saying don't buy imported products. At no point would we say that. But we tell you that when it's available locally, you make a conscious decision and do what will make it happen for St. Lucia. I remember a few years ago, there was a child who said that they were not at school and stuff like that. That was somewhere down in the south. And it was a parent who worked at toilet tissue, right? Toilet manufacturers. So many persons go into Massey Mega, for example. Toilet has this clear, no-name, bag, but Toilet does comfort. I tell people I can't see one reason, unless you have a medical condition, that you can't buy tissue from Toilet. But when you make that decision to buy a foreign brand, you run the risk of somebody losing a job. You know, imagine this child at school can't come to school because why? The parent is no longer at work. Where you could have just made a decision to, you know, make a purchase. If there is a medical issue, don't use it. But then the tissue, I think, is good as any other that is imported. So, St. Lucia, I always say we should go on a toilet paper campaign to, you know, I stop people at the supermarket and I say, why? I see you have this. Honestly, I do.
But that's what I buy, because at Mega, you go and I just pick it up. I didn't even know it was stolen because there's nothing on it. There's no branding, but that's what I use and that's what I prefer.
And to print would make it maybe a cent more expensive, but it is just as good. I saw somebody with Caribbean Grains with another brand of flour. And excuse me, why didn't you buy the Caribbean Grains flour?
And she does it for real.
Yeah. You see, the thing is, I can imagine being in the supermarkets and not knowing Cindy and picking up something. And Cindy goes, excuse me, why don't you buy this? What's the reaction when you do that, Cindy?
Well, once I had a lady say, but it's my money, I can buy. I said, yes, that's true, it's your money. And I'm happy.
Break it down for her.
Yeah, and I'm happy that you're making this choice. But I think you own a business, and I knew who the person was. And I said, I think you own a business. But wouldn't you mind have more people spend more money in your store? And she said, yes, but I said, but if you buy more, then they can create more jobs, and these people get better paid and pay you more money. So do you have can you make another, you know, choice? I said, okay, I'll try it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Cindy, and that's the important point there, that most of us are not, I don't want to use the word conditioned, but our leanings. Perhaps you grew up in a home and you've been using one particular brand, you move into your own home, you're doing the same thing, your children get hooked on that. And so we are not creating a cycle for ourselves when it comes to our local products. And it's always an aha moment when you really break it down for consumers as to the importance of really supporting our local manufacturers and producers.
But I tell people, we make so many excuses. The one time we look for things solution is when we overseas.
Yeah.
And we have that nostalgia.
You know the feeling when you see a Barron's ketchup or Barron's pepper sauce overseas, you don't want it to finish because you want...
country.
Yes, you want everybody on campus to sample this.
But it speaks to the importance of the Love St. Lucia campaign and what you're trying to do with the one community, one product. The mindset, creating a mindset that, you know, you support what is St. Lucian and passing that down, you know, within the generations. But it kind of makes you more proud.
You know, I think, well, two things. We can no longer use quality as the excuse for not purchasing, for buying local, because I have to say that the quality of the products are superb. They can match up.
Our pasta.
Yeah, man, we can match up. Even some of the products, we talk about the packaging. You know, sometimes things are labeled and packaged, and I have to read it. Oh, this was made here? Really? Didn't know. And the second is that point. We produce lots of things, and we do not know that we're producing it. So, Cindy, it's like the word needs to get out.
So log on, go onto the platform and see what St. Lucia offers. And you can also check the St. Lucia Manufacturers Association, because when people look at even NatMed, the repellent, why are you buying another brand of repellent when NatMed has a repellent? And we all have mosquitoes. I'm not happy about it, but for now it's a marketing strategy for us getting this repellent.
We will never get rid of it.
Yes.
It's endemic.
So you need to use NatMed. There's no other choice. You know, the reason you are using another brand of repellent. For our pasta, when you look at tenderoni, you have Il Pirata Maison pasta. I mean, Maison pasta is a local brand, but they used to have Il Pirata. And they originally, I don't call them Italians anymore because she's now St. Lucian for years now. So I see her as one of us. And why buy any other pasta? When you think of the $2 that you're going to, you won't save $2, the few cents you think that you're saving by buying a foreign product, it really will hurt, because you would see the throughput in St. Lucia becoming better. And then it will get cheaper if they start producing more. if there is a greater demand, they will produce more, and then the price will reduce. But if they need to get raw materials, and every time they import raw materials, it's only a handful, rather than if they know the market will absorb all of that, they buy in bulk. And with the SMA, with the associations, they can maybe come together and get it cheaper. You know? Even your clothes, when you buy your bags, Membet, persons pick up and you spend hundreds to buy a brand foreign leather bag.
Yeah.
But when you look at the local brands, you see Christie Creations,
Yes.
you know, your personalized bag. So it's all over. It's not just food products. You know, we need to make a conscious decision to do better, you know, in what we do. And I cannot speak and not speak of our chicken. Our local poultry industry.
Chicken, you know, that's our middle name.
But people go off and I see people make the decision and you buy imported chicken. And I say to persons that you cannot compete on chicken, because somebody would say, oh, but the imported chicken is cheaper. But I tell you, when you look and you see the amount of barbecues that you have to do, read up on the products, the contents of what is fed to the birds of the chicken that is imported, right? We have a feed mill in St. Lucia. I am not saying that you're not supposed to feed the animals antibiotics like us humans. We would take antibiotics when necessary.
Yes.
But the problem with most of these birds that are imported, they are fed antibiotics as per normal. The feed always has it. And there is evidence to show that transferring to humans and causing cancer, there's no bones about it in terms of how this would impact the locals. So our intention here when we sell chicken is to sell health. Because the local chicken, when you say it's more expensive, how do you define that expense? Is it that the money you pay up front or the health cost to you?
At the
burden
back end.
on the nation in terms of health care. We don't even want to go down that road, but we can look for so many preventative measures. So when you make that decision to buy DG or Highline, you make a decision, a health decision. So love in St. Lucia, love yourself, love us, you know, in terms of making this better.
And it just tastes better as well.
Yeah.
You know, I just think, you know, it's more tender, it's a little more succulent. So I know buying local for me, it's a no-brainer. But
it's a healthy option.
It's most certainly is. You know, that imported thing has a little toughness in there. You know, you really have to tug it. I don't mind. You don't want that.
But make a choice, and I ask persons to buy an imported chicken and buy a piece of local, and put the two and leave it to sit.
Yeah.
And make that decision for yourself. Nobody needs to tell you. You can run your own test. And the good thing about buying local, there is redress. There's consumer affairs. Don't forget them. They're like the police for consumer goods. So you have a problem, there's quick redress. You don't have to worry about sending it overseas and your problems. Like anything, you may have some issues because things are not perfect. You have recalls on products all the time all over the world. Yeah. So if there is a recall on a product,
and for various reasons.
Yeah, and if there is a recall, it shows that somebody is monitoring something. Even with you buying furniture, your beds, how could you have a bed and it not be a Lubeco bed, a mattress? You know, how could it not be? Even your pillows, you know, it's all over. We have everything in St. Lucia. Not everything, that's a lie, you know. All what we have, we promote
but
good stuff.
All.
Yeah.
We have. And for what we have, we need to be able to make full use of it so that ideas can keep flowing and those manufacturers can extend themselves, become bigger, get into, we can have conglomerates based right here, you know, coming out of St. Lucia, getting involved in, you know, just multi-businesses. And that brings us to the idea now. I mean, we spoke a little bit about the export, but within, I know the OECS, I know the St. Lucia market a little small. So we should, when we're doing business, not just think about the St. Lucian market, but think about our brothers and sisters who share in our history, who share in our cultural traditions and taste and that sort of thing, because the OECS, for example, at least will give you a market of more than 1 million people. So
if we look at just bananas, within the Windward Islands, we're the only ones still producing bananas.
Yeah, we're still producing.
But when you go out to, at one time I was in Trinidad and then I saw bananas from St. Lucia, I'm like, hey, well, now I'm eating only banana. So we have the original markets.
Honestly, our banana really does taste good.
Yeah.
And I think we don't know it until we taste other bananas.
But I say to persons at times, when you're leaving St. Lucia or somebody's coming and they're heading back, when we speak of export, the export does not have to be you physically boxing and sending it out. Persons visiting St. Lucia and taking this product out, this is a means of export.
Yes.
And I say to persons, even with our bananas, the export does not always have to be the fresh fruit, because this would be the lowest price you'd fetch for this product. Agricultural fresh produce is lower paid. But as long as you manufacture, you alter this product.
And you add the value.
You add value, you add dollars to it. So time and time again, I say to persons, when you're leaving, somebody say to you, bring something back for me. Bring something from St. Lucia. What do you bring? Isn't it time we have a product? Let's say if we had a banana muffin that you know when you come to St. Lucia, this is from St. Lucia. You can say, oh, 10 packets of muffins, you're going out to school, somebody's coming, you're sending something for somebody. And each of them, some can be filled with Miss and Rose, Creole Delights. Have you tasted her banana jam? The breadfruit jam, the plantain jam,
No.
These are out of the world.
Now that you tell me that, I need to go find it.
Yes, and you can stuff that in the banana muffin, right? And maybe we can have a mold that it is shaped like a banana. And you can put maybe some chocolate in there.
Oh.
So you have different flavors, different fillings.
She's a marketing
Cindy's just coming in here,
specialist.
yes, just planting ideas in people's heads, and I'm like...
But this is my job, you know? And for me, I think we have to do better. Exporting bananas does not always have to be this banana in a box and you send it and it's ripe along the way. And, you know, we have to do better for St. Lucia.
And then especially since, you know, we no longer have a preferential market for the bananas, it's there, it is our, raw resource. So we need to be able to use it so that, you know, we say, well, we no longer exporting as immensely as we were doing for the fruit itself, but adding the value. And getting into the processing aspect with bananas.
Now, as you said, the resource, it reminded me, because what OCOP does, OCOP tells you that you use the resource within your community. For Castries, if you think of Castries, how could Castries get involved in OCOP? But I literally drove around. But for me, I'm from Castries. So I know that I see breadfruits falling all around the place. So for Castries, it's breadfruit. But what OCOP would do, if we have this processing facility, we have two on island, but we're trying to refine the access to them. Because we don't want everybody making something at their home and you have to wonder about the conditions. But if we have this facility and persons, you pay your 2 hours, you pay for your time. You go in there, you manufacture it, so it's guaranteed that it's manufactured in a place up to par with full color standards.
That is beautiful. And I think too, that's what our friends like in Taiwan and Japan, you know, these are the concepts. So you have a central facility, and as you say, you can go in and rent some time there. And
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes. Anytime. You just simply rent some time and get your stuff done, and you say up to par. And these, I think, Cindy, that sort of thinking is what's going to really propel us, along with the technology, into the other sphere of business, allowing us to be able to get things done and get it done right.
And even persons getting involved in OCOP, because your role in OCOP can just be designing the package for your material, for your product, sorry. So persons have to see within the community, there's a role for everybody. If you don't get involved in production, you don't get involved in processing, in the tourism aspect, in the environmental, in the design, in the marketing, my God, something must be wrong. There is something for everybody in the community. So you have to, at the end of it all, at the end of each year, we can look at an OCOP fair where we can see, you know, the best of OCOP and pitch St. Lucia. So we have the Japanese on board, and almost guaranteed we have the Taiwanese on board. And for us in St. Lucia, I see that I wouldn't say that it wouldn't be possible without Taiwan, but where this trade show is, there's no way we would be at this point without Taiwan.
There's no doubt that the partnership, some of the hand-holding, collaboration has really done us well. And Cindy, it has been an absolute pleasure. I could see Roger giving us the wrap-up sign there. We can go on and on and on discussing those issues. I see the OCOP concept, and I can't wait when the village tourism aspect or community tourism aspect really flourishes, how that is going to really dovetail into that, mix it up in there, and for us to have something that is completely a St. Lucian experience. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for coming on by. Please don't let it be the last.
I doubt.
And yes, we would love to have you back, right, Irma?
Indeed, it was a great conversation, and I think after today, you just have ideas just flowing in our minds. So good job at that. I feel like I should go and register a business now and say, Cindy.
Why are you preempting me? I was about to say to Cindy that you are a resident creative, and off camera, Cindy, we'll have some discussions about, how, she goes, okay, great. We'll have those discussions. But Irma, just bring us up to speed, because National Day, tell us about the virtual.
Yes, so the Festival of Lights, that is going to be taking place virtually. Of course, you can head over to CDF's page, the Cultural Development Foundation on Facebook, and get all the details on that. I know that there's quite a nice production in play that you could look forward to. So definitely head over to their Facebook page and get the information on that. And very quickly, if you're looking to be vaccinated today, the sites include the VG Sports Complex, the Grosley Human Resource Center, the Soufriere Hospital, the Jackmel Wellness Center in O'Care in VA4, and St. Anthony's Medical Center at Sunny Acres from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Lisa and I will be back with you on Tuesday morning.
We'll be back here. And so we want to just tell you, happy National Day, St. Lucia, a time for us to reflect. Let's look in deep. Cindy there with us, giving us all of those ideas that happen to direct us to being more industrious, productive, and all of those good things. We'll be seeing you back here Tuesday morning, God willing. Lisa and Irma, bye.